So we are going to do some introduction or some basic learning, and I'm just going to explain some of the starting ayats. The things to know is that in Arabic, almost all the words start with 3 letters. 99% of the Arabic words have a start with 3 letters in them. And then bigger words are created from those. Number 1. Number 2, in Arabic, when you take a word and you make a sentence out of it, or multiple words, each word has some effect on the next word. One word has some impact on the next word, either after or before, and its sound changes. Okay? And we will see how that happens. Okay? So those are the 2 basic things we should keep in mind. Okay? That almost all the words start with 3 letters. And when we make sentences with the words, they affect each other and change the sounds. Okay. With that, we will just take the example here of these 3 letters, fa, and lam. These are just 3 letters in Arabic language, alphabets. And these are separate letters, so they don't have any meaning.
Can you pronounce them
letters.
Again? Can you pronounce them again?
Fa, ayn, and lam. Okay. Fa, ayn, and lam. These 3 letters are just 3 letters. They don't have any meaning. Okay. But when we start combining these 3 letters, then the meanings will come out. So in English, if I write down these 4 letters, T-O and D-O. So when we make the words from here and we make the words from there, then they will match to each other. Right now they're just separate letters. Okay? So now let's try first thing here. This T-O-D-O, if I do it this thing, if I remove the T-O from there and put 2 letters he, and from here I remove O and put I-D. Okay? He did. Okay? Now this combination has a meaning. Not only meaning, it has a lot of information in it. What's the information? We are talking about not me, not you, but somebody else, he. We are talking about a person who is a masculine, is not a feminine. By the did, we are talking about past tense. Okay? Not present tense, not future tense. Okay? So in English, we made a sentence like that. Okay? How we make the same thing in Arabic? So what we do in Arabic, we take these 3 letters, fa, and we write them together like this. We combine them by joining each of them, and then we put a fatahah on each of them. Why we put this fatahah here? To bring this sound. Without this we cannot pronounce this. So now this sound will be fa, a, la. Okay? Fa'ala means he did. So if in English we want to make a small sentence, he did, in Arabic it will be equal to putting 3 fathahs on these 3 letters, fa'ala. Okay? And that's the very first box in the table I gave you, fa'ala. Okay? Now one more thing I want to do here, if I do these things, if I put an I and leave this D-O as it is. So instead of T-O, I just put an I there. Okay? So now this became a small sentence. And what is the meaning of this sentence? I'm talking about myself, and I'm talking about present tense. I'm not talking about future tense. I do. Okay. So how do we make Arabic word for that? For that, what we do, we put an alif, which is like a hamza, in the beginning, and combine these three letters like this. And now we have to put some harakat on them. So what we put a fatah there, a sukoon there, a fatah there, and a dhamma there. Af'alu. This will be pronounced as af'alu. Af'alu means I do. Okay. So the rule is that if I want to make an Arabic word where I'm talking about myself and I'm talking about the present tense, then what we do, we just put an alif with the hamza in the beginning and sound like af'alu. Okay? So that's how we make it. Now, using this rule, we are going to learn something above there. Okay? So, what we are going to do, we are going to start with these three letters, and Waw and Dal. Ain, Waw and Dal. Okay? The meaning of this is to seek protection. Ain, Waw and Dal, these are the three letters in Arabic. Just like Fa, Ain and Lam meant to do, Ain, Waw and Dal means to seek protection, to ask to protect. Okay? And again, as I said, 99% of the words start with three letters. So these are three letters here, Ain, Waw and Dal. Okay. Now what I want to do, in English I want to make a sentence saying I seek protection. Okay. So I want to make in English I seek protection. Okay. So what is the rule we just learned is that to put an I and present tense, I have to put an alif with a hamza in the beginning. Okay, so this will become alif with a hamza, and then I take the three letters, which are these three letters now, and I combine them like that. Okay. And I have to put the same harakats here. So this has a sukoon, this one has a fatah, this has a sukoon. Next letter has a fatah on it, and third one has a dhamma. Okay. Same rule. Okay. So
why do we need hamza when
in Arabic we don't call it alif, we call hamza. In Urdu, we call alif.
Okay.
So basically, this is alif there. Yeah. So it is not the hamza that we call hamza in Urdu, but this vertical line with this little thing here is hamza, which is same as alif in Urdu. Okay.
basically hamza needs something to sit on?
Sit on.
So this is the
This line, vertical line, it is sitting on.
chair.
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 Chair, yeah. Okay. So now, if you notice the word, if you pronounce the word, it is wazu, right? Try to pronounce this word now. This is the rule that harakat should be like that. So when I put the harakat like that, its pronunciation will become alif. This hamza will combine with ayn, and it will sound like a'a. Va, dhu. Okay? So this is the word a'a wa dhu. and it means I seek protection. Okay? But now, couple things will happen here. So let's learn one thing here. In let's take these three letters: Alif, Waw, and Ya. These are like vowels in English. Okay? They have sound. Alif has the sound of A in English. Waw has the sound of O in English. And Ya has the sound of E in English, right? Also, to help pronounce, Alif is like a fatah, Waw is like a dhamma, and Ya is like a kasra. Okay? In Urdu and other languages, we call it zabar, pesh, and zair. But in Arabic, this is called fataha, this is called dhamma, this is called kasra. Okay? The sound of alif is the sound of fataha, the sound of waw is the sound of dhamma, which is like O, and the sound of ya is the sound of kasra, like yi. Okay? So this is the combination. Okay? Which means whenever you want to pronounce alif, it has to go with a fataha, a. Waw has to go with dhamma, u. And ya has to go with kasra, yi. Right? Now if you notice one thing here, there's a little problem here. In this here, a letter waw has a fatah on it. Okay? And waw cannot have fatah. Waw has the sound of dhamma. So it's a little mismatch. It's a problem there. Okay? It is a problem. We need to fix that problem. These three letters here in Arabic, they are called weak letters. Weak. Weak letter. Kamzor. Okay? These three letters are weak letters. Whenever they come in any word and they have a mismatch, we have to fix this mismatch. We have to fix the sound of that. Okay? So what we do is that, see, it's also very difficult to pronounce. A'awazu. Okay? If you keep saying a'awazu, it is hard on the tongue also. Okay? So we need to do a little fixing here, and the way we do the fixing is that the sound of waw is oo. So we do a little fix this way. We just leave this one, okay, and on these two letters, we move the sound of these backward this way. The sound of waw we put on ain, and this sukoon we move on waw. So now it became a'udhu. It's easy to pronounce a'udhu instead of a'udhu. A'udhu. It's easy to say a'udhu. That is the word in here in the Quran also. A'udhu. I seek protection. A'udhu means I seek protection or I seek refuge. Okay? That's the meaning of a'udhu. Okay? So this means I seek protection. So that's the first word. Okay? So we learn how this first word was created by these rules. Okay? A'udhu means I seek protection. Okay? Now let's look at the next word. Billahi. Okay? So we will start with again 3 letters. Alif, or you can call Hamza, Lam and Ha. These are 3 letters. As I said, most of the letters, 99% of the words start with 3 letters in Arabic. Okay? So if I take these 3 letters and write down this way, E, La, Hun. I took the first letter and put a kasra there, so it sounds like E. I took the second letter and put an alif after that. This is like an alif. So it becomes La. E, La. And then I took the last letter, Ha, and I put 2 dhammas on it. And it sounds like Hun. So it became Ila Hun. What is the meaning of this word? It means a God. In English, it means a God. Okay, now notice that I wrote down God with a small g. Okay? So what is the meaning of Ilahun? The meaning of Ilahun is that if someone is worshipping an idol, statue, then that is the Ilahun for that person. Okay? If someone is worshipping his own desires, then his own desire is the Ilahun for that person. Okay? So, a God is whoever a person was worshipping, is a God for him. Okay? So that is Ilahun. Okay? Now in Arabic, there is a word here, Alif and Lam. If I combine these two like this, Al, it means the. Al means the. In English, the. In Arabic, it is Al. Okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down this Al before that. I'm just going to write down a simple one. Al Ilahun. Now what I did, I put a da here in the beginning, right? By putting an al in Arabic, I put a da in the English here. Okay? Now in English language, you cannot say the a God or the a book. It is wrong. Either it is a pen or it is the pen. Right? A pen can be any pen. But when I say the pen, it is some definite special pen. Okay? So in English, a and da cannot combine. So what we have to do, we have to drop out this a from here. Okay? So now it becomes the God. Okay? What we do in Arabic to drop this meaning of this a is we take these 2 dhammas and change into 1 dhamma. Changing 2 dhammas into 1 is like taking out a from here. Okay? So now what is left? The God. The God is now, but now it's not any God, any idol or any worship or desire or anything. This is now God. The God. There is only one the God. Okay? So the God can be written with a capital G in English. Okay? How can we pronounce this now? This is pronounced Al-Ilahu. Because now there is only 1 dhamma. There is only 1 dhamma, not 2. So we are not going to pronounce Ilahun. but we are going to pronounce Ilahu. Al-Ilahu, when it is written together, it sounds Allahu. When you combine these things, you do not pronounce this thing in the middle and you pronounce Allahu. Allahu is a very unique name. That is the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is now this is written like this. Allahu. Okay. This is one lam. This is second lam. So I put this lam here and put a shadda there. Because when you have two lams, you can write down with a shadda. This little alif, I left it there. Okay. This who is still there. This alif is still there. This alif is not pronounced anymore. So the word is Allahu. So the original word is Allahu. When we stop, we say Allah. But the Arabic word is Allahu. When we say Allahu Akbar, which means you are pronouncing the full word. Okay? When we want to say Subhanallah, actually it is Subhanallahu. But because it is stopping there, you are permitted to say Subhanallah. You don't need to pronounce this dhamma at the end. If it is at the end. When you say Alhamdulillah, you stop there. You don't pronounce this one. Because it is at the end. But if it is in the middle, you have to pronounce. Allahu Akbar. You have to say, you cannot say Allah Akbar. You have to make a full pronunciation. Allahu Akbar. Okay? So, the word Allahu, it's only one God, the God, okay? But it's derived from here, okay? From these three letters, okay? So, this is the word Allahu. Now, let's learn one more thing. In Arabic, there are some letters here. Ba with a kasra, B means with. Lam with a kasra means for. Okay. And there is a 5-6 of these. Like in English, they are called prepositions. Okay, with, for, above, and things like that. For example, min. Min means from. And ala means on. In Arabic, these words translate in English like this. Bi means with, li means for, min means from, and ala means on. Okay? They are called prepositions. When in English, we use them. Okay? When in English, we use these prepositions, be or li or min or ala, we just combine. We says on the book, okay, or in the book. Okay, there's one more. Fi. Fi means in. Okay. So if we want to say in the book, we just put in the book, which use 3 letters, 3 words in there. But in Arabic, when these letters or these things, so I'm going to put one here, B. If I put B before the word Allahu, the meaning will be with God, with Allah. Okay? The meaning will become with God, because be means with. Okay. So in English, what happened? I just put a with, and I put a God there, and it became a sentence, a small sentence. Okay. What happens in Arabic? In Arabic, as I said in the beginning, one word has the effect on the second word next to that. It modifies the sound of that. Okay, that's how the Arabs spoke the language. Okay? So what happens when we put B, the word is actually Allahu. Okay? This B has an effect on this word. And what is the effect? It takes this last Dhamma and changes into a Kasra. Okay? So sound becomes Billahi. Separately it is B and Allahu. If you are speaking to two separate words, you will say this is B, B means with. This is Allahu, God. Okay? But as soon as you combine these two words together, and this is a with God, then this B will make a change in this word. And the change will always be this way. It will look for the last letter. If it is a Dhamma, it will change into a Kasra. So the pronunciation will become Billahi. Okay? That is the word here. I seek protection with Allah. I seek protection with Allah. Okay. A'udhu billahi. Separately, these were different words. A'udhu was a separate word before we came to that point. B was separate, Allahu was separate. By the combination, it became A'udhu billahi, means I seek protection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? A'udhu billahi. Okay? Now let's look at the next word. Next word is Mina. Mina, which is actually I wrote down here. Min means from. Okay? Now let's look at the next word.